Hi everybody, Chris Titley here and welcome to Scoreboard.
This episode is powered by Swyftx, Australia's top-rated crypto exchange and proudly homegrown, just like many of the athletes and business leaders we feature on Scoreboard.
Hi, it's Chris Titley here, and today's episode of Scoreboard, I am joined by Bree Chester on Friday the 7th of November, early in the morning, 8:10 in the morning. Bree, welcome to Scoreboard.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be on.
Yeah, how are you going? It's 8:10 in the morning. You had your coffee this morning?
I haven't yet, but that's okay because my brain is still working for some reason.
Still working. Yeah, I'm in the morning. I'm a bit of a morning person. Are you a morning person or a late night sleep-in person?
No, I'm definitely a morning person, so I'd rather do it now than...
Let's do it. Let's do it now. 2025, as I said, we're sitting here on the 7th of November, towards the tail end of 2025. We're almost done. It's almost silly season. How's your 2025 been in a nutshell, Bree?
It's actually been a massive year on and off the field. I think I've really gone through a lot this year, the biggest roller coaster of ever. Football-wise, it's been really good, but mentally, probably off the field, not so good. Lost my pop this year, which was super devastating. But in terms of football, our team, we've probably done the best we have this year. We've played our first year of semi-finals, my first ever semi-finals in NRLW. So there's lots of positives to take from this year.
Excellent. Why do you think this year? What's the reason, do you think, behind the team and maybe your individual performance, again, getting player of the year? Why do you think there's been a little bit of an edge this year?
I think just experience. It's our third year in the comp as Cowboys. The first year is definitely like a learning year. We had a lot of unexperienced players, myself included. And then last year had a new coach. Ricky jumped on board. He was still working with us. We were quite new to him and the system that he was trying to implement. And then this year, we kind of got used to him. He got used to us. We got used to each other. And then we were just able to grow from that, which I'm hoping goes into next year as well.
Yeah, I mean, the dynamics of a team, I talk a lot about the different roles that people play and understanding their roles within the team. Do you think that was something that clicked a little bit this year? Maybe the bench player knowing that they're the bench player, but they're happy with that because it's part of the team dynamic?
Yeah, absolutely. It's all just about understanding your role and then just focusing on that and not focusing outwards. I think sometimes you can get used to or in your head that you need to know what this person needs to do. But if we all just focus on our individual roles, it makes it so much easier.
And then when it comes to individual skills, you excelled again in terms of your tackles and your energy. What about this year in terms of what you were doing right and what you were honing in on and working on that sort of reaped the rewards for you?
Yeah, definitely. For me, I don't look at myself as the one that's going to do all the fancy stuff on there. I pride myself in my work ethic. So, I was happy with that this year. And yeah, I definitely reaped the rewards at the end of the year, which I was not expecting.
Bree, in terms of some daily habits or high performance tips, there's people out there that get an insight into a professional athlete's life that take a little bit of nuggets of gold from podcasts. I'm curious to know what some sort of habits or high performance tips that you have in mind that you use and potentially have helped you to become a better you.
Not really habits, but I just think be really super open to learning. Like I feel like I'm a sponge sometimes and I always want to learn and having different people step in and out of our team and going in and out of different teams, you can always take something from someone else. So just be so open to learn and grow, and that's the only way you're gonna ever get better.
And then when it comes to like having the coach and teams around you and support crew and rugby league is an individual game, it's a team game, but there's also people outside of that are there for you and to talk through those down moments that you mentioned previously. How important is that support crew and who are they? And a bit of a shout out.
Yeah, it's so important. My family, obviously, my mum, my dad, my brother. I live so far away, so I'm up in Townsville at the moment, and all my family are in either Newcastle or Sydney. So being so far away, it's so important that I still am connecting with them every single day. And then, obviously, moving up here, my family away from home are the friends that I've made here, and my teammates are super important. And no matter where they go on their journey, they'll still be the people I reach out to.
Yeah, and talking about the move there, the Cowboys saw something in you and backed you, and that you're quite young in your career as well, having that big step to move away from home. Do you want to talk about potentially the transition there, and also how you do to keep connection back home?
Yeah, so 3 years ago, it was kind of a hard decision. I was stuck between staying somewhere I was comfortable, but maybe not reaping the rewards, or moving far away, feeling uncomfortable, not knowing anyone, but gaining an opportunity. And my dad pushed me into that. He goes, "You have to do that. Like, that's probably the best thing for you, and don't think about us because we'll support you no matter what." So, um, doing that and feeling backed by my family definitely helped. And then moving up here was probably the best thing for my playing career. And I probably didn't realize at that time it was going to be the biggest blessing. So, um, and because of that, I do thank my daddy. I still call him every day, and even in tough decisions that I face today, like I'll be like, "What do you think?" And he'll still be like, "Stop thinking about us down here. We're fine. You got to do what's best for you."
Absolutely, great advice and a great connection there. In terms of reassurance and feedback, how do you gauge feedback, and how are you in regards to maybe if things don't go your way? The term "be a goldfish" has popped up a couple of times, but in terms of like you getting the best out of you and things not going your way, what do you do, and how do you pick yourself up?
Yeah, we use that as well, that goldfish mentality. Like, things aren't always going to be perfect. You're going to fail 100 times before you succeed. But feedback is so important to me, and I would rather hear the truth, even if it's something I don't want to hear, because you're only going to learn by that. I've had people in my life probably tell me what I want to hear, and it hasn't benefited me at all. So just seeking truth and raw feedback is the only way you're going to get better.
And life as a professional athlete playing in the NRLW, do you want to give the listeners a bit of a glimpse into what it's like? There's the glorious of signing, doing the selfies and all the maybe the posters and the trading cards and being on TV, etc. But then at the end of the day, you're a human being and you do have feelings, and you are a person that's just doing their profession. But with all this pressure, how do you cope with all this?
Yeah, it can be hard at times, but I think I've mentally grown into that. You've got to go, and I think every athlete will go through moments where they are dropped, or they aren't succeeding, or they are failing, or they feel like they're like, what's happening? And you've got to really go through all those moments to then mentally overcome them, and set yourself up for what's next. And it's all about resetting in those moments when things don't go your way, because I'll tell you, it will happen every year. Things will not go our way, and we'll have to learn from it and then move forward. And it's so like cliche to say that, but that's really what it is.
Yeah, and Bree, 23 years old. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
23 now, early in your career, but making such an impact. One of the most emerging, one of the most emerging stars in the NRLW. I'm curious to know your vision, your goal, maybe as a team, maybe as a player, and also how you think about on a daily basis, maybe where you want to go.
Yeah, 23. It's funny because we have such a young team up here, and even though I'm 23, I feel like I'm one of the oldest in our team. Um, and as I've been up here, I have moved into like a leadership role in this team at such a young age, and I think a lot of our leaders in our team are quite young still, but it is like really rewarding feeling like you can be a part of a leadership group that can lead a really good like young team, and that's exciting. And for me, whether or not I'm in that leadership group, my role doesn't change, because I still want to be able to inspire my team and make them feel like this is a safe space, and a space where they can perform and be themselves, because you're going to play your best footy when you're being yourself and you feel supported by your team.
Great answer. I'm also curious to know where the word fun comes into it. Are you having fun as a professional athlete?
Yes, as my dad always tells me, he goes, "You only play your best football when you enjoy yourself." And I always tell everyone, like, we have to go out and have fun and enjoy it. Otherwise, we're not going to play good.
Yeah, but then also there's an element of seriousness, which is what I want to try and capture in Scoreboard, is that there is fun and that deep connection back to your junior roots, I suppose, playing footy or playing other sports, and why you do it. But then it's big business now. There's money, there's contracts, there's TVs, there's etc. And there's hard decisions to be made. Do you try and keep going back to that having fun, or is it more like I'm in the flow? I'm not thinking about fun.
Yeah, the balance between fun and serious, I can admit I probably still haven't figured that out yet. In serious moments, I still try and make them fun, because it is true as you move up and it's all about being professional and everything, it sometimes does feel serious and it sometimes does feel like the fun is being drained out of it. But it is important, and I would hope that I can keep that fun element to it. It's important, like professionalism and all that is super important in our game, but you can still do that while having fun.
And you touched on leadership role at the Cowboys. I'm curious to know about your vision of leadership in your head. Have you always thought of yourself as a leader? Have you always been a leader growing up in the juniors, or is it something that's organically grown?
Um, yeah, not necessarily. Like I've always seen myself as someone that can do it, but I don't think leaders are ever put their hand up. They're the ones like I've always been told like you earn it. Like so, I think just through action and through how I am, like a leader's role would never change whether they're the captain or they're not even getting picked in the team. And for me, my role would never change if either of those were to happen as well. Like it's just your traits that are in you and they'll grow and you'll then pass them on to other people. And I think everyone in their own right would kind of be a leader in our team.
I think you mentioned around work ethic earlier on. Some of the other traits that you would describe yourself. It's a very hard thing to do, but I'm going to put you on the spot around what makes you a good forward, what makes you a good rugby league player, and potentially rising above the rest.
Yeah, I do struggle to answer questions about myself, but um, it is you've got to find something that does differentiate you from other forwards. And I suppose I've never been like the big strong forward, unfortunately. I wish I could just run over people, but I've had to find how I can then add to my game. And yeah, it's definitely through my work ethic. Like my IQ is continuing to grow. Like you've got to what now I'm trying to add like a ball playing element so I can link with my other ball playing like halves and things that will just lift me a little bit and better me as a player because as much as I want to be the big strong player that runs over people, I'm in the gym trying to get a bit stronger to do that, but it's probably never going to be my game.
How do you think about all those variables in regards to strength and conditioning, but then also nutrition, and then also sleep, and then also actually the skills that you mentioned in terms of adding a little more of a dimension to your game, the balance around all that every day? How do you cope with that?
Yeah, no, there's a lot like yeah, strength conditioning, what you eat, how much you're sleeping, are you hydrated, are you mentally like feeling okay? Like there's a lot that goes into it, but all are important. If I look at myself 3 years ago, like in terms of my strength and conditioning is lifted, I've learned so much about what I'm putting into my body. I'm sleeping much better, and like there's a difference between like sleeping and like quality sleep. And we were pretty lucky this year because our they organised our whoops.
Ah,
So now,
big shout out to Whoop, hey? There we
yeah,
go.
good
Organic
on
sponsorship, unpaid, by the way.
yeah, no, so our well-being Tammy, she organised for us to all have whoops, and like it's funny because like we'll all look like we'll sleep, wake up the next day, have a look at like how much like deep sleep we've all gotten and all that, our recovery. So it's kind of cool.
I think everyone's becoming, I use a CPAP for ResMed, and now we've got Whoop. Lots of advertisers in this podcast. But in terms of the data, how do you go? Like, are you an expert in REM sleep now and deep sleep and light sleep?
No, but it kind of motivates me to like want to like be better because it's funny in season they could all kind of see how we were sleeping, and there was like a period of time where my sleep was terrible and I was going through some stuff then. So I wasn't sleeping well, and then like I would wake up and like get a message from our S&C and be like, why are you not sleeping? Like what's going on?
Now, before we get on to some fun stuff, I'm curious to know about role models. Did you have a role model growing up, and then you being a role model now for younger girls wanting to play in the NRLW as well as Indigenous girls that want to play in the NRLW? Can you talk about your views on role models, and I suppose how you see yourself moving forward?
Yeah, so growing up, I used to look up to Beck Young. She's played for our country for All Stars NRLW, and she was a mum like while doing all this. She's from Port Stephens, where I'm from, proud Worimi woman. So obviously I looked up to her, and she was almost like an auntie figure to me. So I would always be like, Auntie Beck. So, and then when she stepped down from football, she moved into coaching, and then she was able to coach me through a couple of years there at Newcastle in my All Stars campaign, and she's still even involved in that All Stars and that cultural space we have there. So I think looking at her and what she's done in our game, and then her transitioning and then being a mentor to me, is like, she's someone that I would look up as a role model. And whenever someone asks me that question, I always think of her.
Yeah, no, fantastic, and the importance of giving back and being part of, being proud and being deeply connected to your culture. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, culture is so important to me. I was very lucky to grow up around it. I grew up on Worimi country down in Port Stephens, but I'm a proud Darul woman, which is down the south coast from Lapa down to Wollongong in New South Wales. So school can only teach you so much. Everything's kind of taught through your parents, your grandparents. You go out to on country and you're getting taught stuff by elders. But I was very lucky because football, I think, has gave me so many opportunities to learn about my culture. Jessica will put on camps that are just solely for us to learn about our culture, and she'll take away the footy for a weekend and she'll be like, let's go out to country, let's learn about this. There's girls that have come through our campaigns and not known anything about their culture, and I've walked out learning like who they are, where they come from, the elders from their country, and it's really inspiring to see like growth for all of us in that terms.
Isn't it great that sports are connector like that? And a holistic question then on the back of that is, what's rugby league and what sport given you in your life?
Yes, school. Sport has given me so much, especially rugby league. I definitely wouldn't be the person I am without rugby league, and it shaped me. And it's so generic to say, oh yeah, like it shaped me, but it really has. Like, what I do every day is probably because of rugby league. To be honest, I have a great job now where I get to work for community, go into schools, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for rugby league, and I wouldn't be given opportunities to learn about my culture and where I come from if it wasn't for rugby league. So I feel like I will forever be in debt for what rugby league has given me.
Now, let's talk about your favourite all-time sporting moment. And I preface this to guests, which I put them on the spot a little bit, that it's not about themselves. It's about a spectator. And we're on the topic of sport and connection, something you can watch 1,000 times over.
Um, I would have to say Kathy Freeman holding the Aboriginal flag at the Olympics after she ran. A lot of people probably look at that flag and go, I don't know what that is. That's not an Australian flag, but that is our culture, and that is the oldest living culture in the world. So her repping the Australian flag was such a cool moment, and I could rewatch that a million
Oh,
times.
I don't know how many times I've watched it. It's thousands. And just that look on her face at the end, you're like, what is that look? Is that relief? Is it? And then she got asked that recently after 25 years. She's like, oh, I wasn't really happy with my time. And that's what she goes. It wasn't anything apart from I looked at my time. I looked over at my time and thought, I wasn't that happy. But yeah, just an incredible moment. Now we do have a couple of sponsors at Scoreboard, and they help us pay the bills and do the things that we do and tell stories of the game of sport, which is amazing. And we're deeply grateful for them. The first is Swyftx, which is Australia's most trusted cryptocurrency platform with over 1.2 million users in Australia and New Zealand. And as part of their new Where Can Crypto campaign, we do a little segment on Scoreboard called the Scoreboard Bucket List, which is a sporting event that you haven't attended thus far live as a spectator that you would love to attend. Bree, I'm curious as to know what your bucket list sporting event, and maybe crypto could take you there.
Yeah, well, running off the back of the last question, I'm probably going to have to say the Olympics. You watch it on TV every 4 years, but I would love to go live to Olympics. Probably track and field. I would go and sit there and watch. I think it'd be cool to watch the sprinters all day, like, and just pretend it could be me.
There's got plenty of chances, but there's one 3 years coming up in LA, and then there's the big one 7 years later down in Brizzy. You reckon you'll come
Yeah.
down to Brizzy for it?
Hopefully I will make an appearance to that. I would love to watch that live.
And now it's time for our Do You Budget segment powered by PocketSmith. PocketSmith is the personal finance app for the household CFO, the one keeping the budget in check, paying the bills and kicking goals. Over 80,000 Aussies use PocketSmith to track their spending, see their net worth and plan ahead. And with all the sport and business and money and all those sort of things, Bree, I'm curious, do you budget?
I do to an extent. I probably am not as structured as many people are. I do try and give myself a bit of leeway, but I can be a much better budgeter. I can admit that.
There you go. Check out PocketSmith. I use it. It's great for the categories of scrapes your bank account and tells you you drink too much coffee and you shouldn't do Netflix. No, it doesn't do that. But, it's good for that categorization. And Bree, we've also got a partner in PayLab that is powering this new segment called the Favourite Junior Sporting Club Shout Out. Experience the ultimate in savings and convenience with PayLab Rewards. The PayLab platform is designed to help your club and its members make the most of every purchase by offering instant rewards to over 140 of Australia's top retailers. And even better, your club earns a revenue share from every transaction made. Bree, I'm curious, which sporting club are you shouting out to and why?
Yeah, so Malibu Panthers, played with them from the ages of 8 till 12, and then obviously being a female back then, you weren't allowed to play on with the boys, but I was the only girl in my boys team for those 5 years. So shout out to them. They're a very small club, but they're doing great down there.
That is awesome. I love that. Now, the other question I ask is about your scoreboard moment, which is a moment in your life which is very visual, a bit like Kathy Freeman's run, where you can memorize it and you can watch the whole thing, play it over in your brain, but it's deeply personal to you. And then from that moment, things changed.
Yeah, probably just my first year of NRLW. You watch all these players on TV, and you're almost like fangirling them, and then you get to go out there and you verse them, and you're like looking over, like, am I actually doing this? Like, I would watch Isabel Kelly on TV and be like, wow, she's a freak, and then I get to verse her, and then she gets to score tries on us, but that's okay.
Thanks for sharing that scoreboard moment. Bree, now we've got two final questions. One is, what's some advice that you would give to younger girls coming through, playing sport, watching the TV, seeing professional athletes like yourself playing NRLW, and they may want to be professional athletes?
Yeah, probably just don't forget your why. As things pick up in rugby league, no matter what you play, you'll always go back to your why. Don't forget to enjoy it, have fun doing it. People get so caught up in, like, what do I need to do? Like, how do I get there? But honestly, just enjoy every moment, take every opportunity, and don't forget your why.
Don't forget your why. That's awesome. Now, if we repeat this podcast in scoreboard series 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 down the track, let's call it 2 years down the track now for you, Bree. Where would you like yourself to be in 2 years when we repeat this podcast?
Hopefully, had won a premiership. That's the goal of everyone that plays rugby league. I think we've got a team to do it. So yeah, in maybe even 1 year, that's my goal, to hopefully have won a premiership. Continue to grow out. Obviously, I've got bigger goals to represent my state and my country when that's all in God's timing, when that's for me, if that's for me. They're the goals, but what I can do now is just control what I can control. So let's hope I can get there.
Bree Chester, thank you so much for being on Scoreboard and sharing a glimpse of your story behind the scenes of a professional athlete, one of the most emerging players and dynamic players in the NRLW. Congratulations on your time so far at the Cowboys and the recognition that you're getting. But with that goal in mind, we look forward to following your progress and supporting you wherever we can.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.